Have you ever wondered how Jesus could be the Prince of Peace if there's so much war? We should talk about it. Hey everybody, my name is Chris Pavlo. Welcome to What Jesus Says About, where Jesus speaks for himself. So you can respond for yourself, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on what Jesus says about topics important to you. Topics like peace. Now before we talk about what Jesus says about peace, we need to talk about what Jesus thought about when Jesus thought about peace. I think I said that right. In Hebrew, which is one of the languages Jesus spoke, the word for peace is this word shalom. And shalom is not so much like peace as in the absence of conflict. Shalom is peace as in like wholeness or completeness. So like if you have a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, and it's all put together, that's shalom. But a jigsaw puzzle missing a piece, that's not shalom, or not peace, or whatever. Think about any time in your life when you have conflict or chaos or you're fighting with somebody. It's not so much that there's the presence of conflict. You don't have peace or shalom because someone or something is missing. Things are out of place. Things aren't as they should be. Which means when you reconcile with someone, suddenly things are back to the way they should be. You have peace. You have shalom. But what's really interesting is that in Jewish thought, it's not just that we have not shalom or a lack of peace with people. We also have not shalom or a lack of peace with God because we rebelled against him and things are not as they should be. Something is missing, something is broken. And so we are a people who are longing for shalom. Shalom within ourselves, shalom with people, and shalom with God. So now that we know what Jesus thought about when Jesus thought about peace, let's look at what Jesus actually says about peace. Perhaps the most comforting teaching on peace that Jesus gives to you comes in the night where he is betrayed. It's just before his arrest and his execution. His followers are all freaking out, and he tells them, guys, everything I've taught you, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart because I have overcome the world. And isn't that interesting? He actually promises conflict. He promises turmoil and trouble. In this world, you will have trouble. What Jesus is about to do, his death on a cross and what we would say is his resurrection, gives us peace with God, with each other, and with the world, even when we find ourselves in conflict and in the midst of war, we can have peace. And I admit, I wish Jesus would promise no more wars, no more conflict, but instead he promises something else. He promises peace. And speaking of our last video, if you haven't seen it yet, you can look right over here and see what Jesus says about war. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.